Oh my God. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, folks. I'm so sorry about that. So yeah, I'm sorry I was on mute the whole time for 16 minutes. So yeah, let me just reintroduce myself. Um, yes, this is G Money Stacks, aka the Greg and Nature rhymes with narrator. Your host with the most. Um, Good evening, USA, International Canada, Long Island, AK Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. Of course, the tri-state area of New Jersey and Connecticut, and the five boroughs of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. And I do apologize for being on mute the whole time. So, um, yes, and of course, I'm a YouTuber, creator, Queens, New York native, who is also a New York Mets fan. I'm also unstoppable independent podcaster, and of course, I am also a New York Giants fan, and of course, Queens, New York native, right here. Um, so 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 let me just recap. Let me just recap though, man. Of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page, and of course, be sure to also leave a like and a comment alongside with the topics. Tell me how you feel about the topics. And of course, like I was saying before, I didn't know I was on mute. Go to You can check out if you would like to get in on the action in regards to discounts, go to www.streamyard.com so that way you'll be able to set up an account with your either your email address or your podcast email address. All right. That's www.streamyard.com so you don't miss out on a discount. All right. And of course, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more um, live live video podcast episode live streams. All right. And of course, um, I'd like to recap in the New York Mass Transit Files segment. Um, Cap right there. So yeah. All right. All right. All right, let's do this again. All right, let's do a little. I'm gonna do a little recap here. All right, all right, so this one right here kind of rubs everybody the wrong way. Um, you know what I mean? And this is from AMNY. NYPD data shows subway crime in NYC is decreasing, even as the city was hit hard by a handful of violent, high-profile incidents so far this month. According to the latest NYPD statistics, transit dropped nearly 3% year to date compared to the same period last year. During a press conference on Wednesday at Grand Central Terminal um, in Midtown, Governor Kathy Hochul and MTA officials underscored the decrease, reassuring strap hangers that the state is taking action to keep the trains safe. In quote, we leaned in, found solutions, and began to turn things around, Hochul said after describing higher transit crime rates before 2022. we surged NYPD officers into hold on. All right. Yeah, we surged NYPD officers into the subway. Transit police were here as well. Um, Hochul said she would continue the 6 month overnight police patrol that she announced in January. However, it is not clear how long the overnight patrol will continue. I'm going to end quote. I'm going to continue supporting this. She said, "I'm saying a number of months before because I've got a new budget I have to work on as well, and I have to go back to the legislature. But with the resources we allocated last year, we're going to continue that through this year." The surge of NYPD officers was part of a $77 million investment aimed at keeping transit safe. Hmm. All right. So, delving deeper into recent crime statistics, this summer has been especially safe, with MTA officials saying the 2025 season had the safest July and August in history. Overall, transit crime was down 22.8% this August compared. Felony assaults were down 40.4% compared to last year. Um, Robberies were down 34% in the subway system in August compared to 2024, according to the MTA. Surging ridership and falling crime is very good news for MTA riders who consistently rank subway safety as their number one concern. MTA Chief Security Officer Michael Kemper said, "We remain focused and will continue working with the NYPD and our law enforcement partners to ensure this downward trend continues." You cannot compare last year to this year's um, numbers. Anyway, subway crime vibes versus statistics. The data provides good news, but little consolation to millions of New Yorkers who use the city's transit system. Strap hangers told AM New York rather. They have seen the headlines, especially recent ones, including a September 5th incident on a 4 train in Union Square in which a woman was hit with a baseball bat. That's fucking insane, man. Okay, so no, I terminal commuter Natalia said, if you are from New York, you know. Joseph, who commutes on many trains in NYC, says safety is an issue. Um, which is true, which is so true. Um all right, so just a day before the baseball bat attack on September 4th, News 12 reported that the police were searching for a man who allegedly slashed a fellow strap hanger on an A train at a Hoyt Sher- Hoyt Schermerhorn Street station in Brooklyn after the pair had an argument. Repeat offenders are cycled back into the system, unfortunately. Over the past few months, the NYPD has brought down crime on the subways and made them safer. However, a small population of reoffenders continues to cycle back. Since May, the NYPD has arrested a stunning 63 subway offenders, each least with at least 50 transit arrests. Combined, this group has accrued 5,229 subway arrests, though only five of these criminals are currently in custody. A few violent criminals haunt the system, where nearly a fifth of the 337 transit felony assaults this year were unprovoked. These are chronic aggressors, police said, with just 147 arrestees, racking up a cumulative 3,507 past arrests. Among the recidivists, police said, include Kenny Mitchell, who was arrested in June on three open warrants while stretching out on a crowded C train platform at Franklin Avenue, his pockets allegedly full of crack vials. Later that day, at the Schermerhorn station, he was arrested for breaking MetroCard machines. Mitchell, in fact, has had 90 transit arrests, including 18 just since May, plus a new August summons. But he's still on the trains, according to law enforcement sources. Carlos Baez Caban has 48 arrests, including one for allegedly rider one rider while stealing her phone, and has five rearrests for larcenies and stolen property just since he was sentenced to probation 2 months ago. With three open cases, he's also free, police said. Shaquille Clark, age 32, has multiple arrests for transit forcible touching, robbery, and assault. Besides punching riders for their phones, he's stripped off his shirt on a one train to whip a woman's um, face. He's rubbed his groin against ladies' rears on the 7 train, and in April on a downtown 6, Clark is out on probation. That can't be good. Matthew Leon, age 25, has 13 sex-related arrests, like when he leaped out of an L train at Halsey, groped a woman's breast and buttocks, and then hopped back on the departing train. He was finally remanded this spring for reaching inside a stranger's pants and top. Troublingly, this year's seen 92 subway attacks on NYPD members, 32 on MTA workers, and a heartbreaking 12% spike in elderly assaults because recidivists do not fear authority. Law enforcement sources have said, yeah. Meanwhile, the NYPD has embraced intelligent and innovative practices. NYPD transit districts communicate in real time over a new digital platform, sharing alerts when a wanted recidivist pops up. Officers now receive instant communication of incidents that come over the MTA system. NYPD's Encounter program responds to the full range of subway disorders like smoking in trains or lying outstretched over rows of seats, something remarkably correlated to subway recidivists. Overall, the NYPD made 15% more felony arrests and 87% more misdemeanor arrests in 2024 compared to 2023. Transit robberies year to date ending July 31st are at their lowest level in at least 18 years, down 9% compared to 2024. Perps being caught and prosecuted, Bragg. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg says stranger assaults and forcible touching are among the subway crimes his office most commonly prosecutes. Even as recently as September 10th, a defendant was arraigned in Supreme Court for second-degree attempt murder, robbery, and assault charges. Brandon Balfour, age 18, was arraigned in New York criminal court last month and remained after he stabbed a woman and robbed her on a 3 train. Yes, robbed her on a 3 train in Lower Manhattan on August 6th. Surveillance camera footage showed that Balfour was wearing a yellow a surgical mask at the time of the attack. The victim suffered stab wounds to her back and left arm and was brought to an area hospital in stable condition. Balfour was arrested at a Queens shelter 2 days later. Transit crime is going down, but we want to remain vigilant, Bragg said, adding that Balfour is looking at a 15 looking at a sentence of 5 to 25 years. Bragg said his office has taken an active role in combating transit crime. We work with law enforcement partners in the NYPD and MTA as well. We are litigating these cases. We're prosecuting people who do harm on the subways. Bragg added that recent changes to the 2019 discovery law will further help his office crack down on subway crime, including repeat offenders. We see and we track the recidivism, Bragg said. We anticipate that the steps we took with the legislature and the governor earlier this year with the discovery bill changes will help. It it should help with the recidivism. I'm not gonna have time to actually explain what that is, so that'll be for another time. Let's see. Let me see what else. Okay, a while back, there was like a group of people. There's like a group of people outside, gathering involving the advertising topic that I talked about episodes ago. Actually, dozens of protesters gathered outside the MTA's headquarters in Lower Manhattan on Wednesday to take a stand against the agency's new policy that brings back some alcohol advertising on subways. Members of community and wellness groups from across the city rallied to stop the MTA from restarting a ban on alcohol themed ads that was put in place 8 years ago. The MTA board voted on June 25th to allow display ads for adult beverages throughout the city's transit system. But concerned health and community advocates want to keep the boozy ads back in 2020 in 2017 when they were originally banned due to concerns about underage drinking. The decision to bring back transit alcohol ads directly harms all New Yorkers. Robert Pezzolesi, whose group Interfaith Public Health Network led the rally, said, but no group of people will directly suffer its impacts more than youth, communities of color, and residents recovering from alcohol problems. According to Pezzolesi, there is overwhelming evidence of alcohol marketing on public transit having a negative impact on communities of color. A 2023 study by medical institutions, including Harvard Medical School's Department of Psychiatry, highlighted the disparities in alcohol related deaths based on race and ethnicity in the United States, with American Indians, Alaska Natives experiencing the highest burden. Pezzolesi said research such as this sheds light on alcohol's deadly effects on community health. The MTA knows this, he said, but in an effort to recoup major revenue margins, the board has chosen to undo its progress and once again risk New Yorkers' lives with predatory alcohol predatory alcohol marketing. We are urging the MTA to protect the health of all riders and restrict these dangerous ads. But MTA officials said the ban is still in place, only loosened to allow more ad flexibility. Jesse Lazarus, chair of the MTA's Advertising Review Committee, explained that the total prohibition of alcohol related ads has been too broad, leaving the agency to reject um, potential revenue generating sources, even if the ad did not blatantly show booze. Um, One of the things that the committee has been observing is that many of the ads that promote eateries or restaurants that include a glass of wine potentially on the table. We are spending our time rejecting those ads and age subsequent revenue that may come from it or debating whether the content of the glass is grape juice or wine, he said. Meanwhile, elected officials, including Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, urged the MTA to reconsider any booze ads on transit. Public transit is a lifeline for working families, youth, and vulnerable New Yorkers, and it should not be a platform to promote products that pose long-term risks to public health. She said, "I stand with the Interfaith Public Health Network, medical professionals, and faith leaders in urging the MTA to reinstate its 2017 alcohol advertising ban and prioritize the well being of the riders it serves." Okay. All right. So next we have an e-bike rider that was killed after recently slamming into an open car door on a Queens street. Police announced Saturday. According to law enforcement sources, officers from the 102nd Precinct responded to a collision near Lefferts Boulevard and Jamaica Avenue in Richmond Hill at around 8:25 a.m. on Monday, which took place on August 25th. Um, an initial investigation determined that a 32-year-old man from Queens named Vickers was riding an e-bike southbound on Lefferts Boulevard when he collided with an open car door. Damn. Damn, that shit hurts. Police determined that a 46-year-old man sitting in a 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLC opened the driver's side door that Vickers slammed into. Upon the horrific impact, the cyclist was thrown off the device and forcibly landed on the roadway, sustaining a head injury. EMS immediately responded and rushed the victim to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Meanwhile, the man in the Mercedes Benz remained at the scene. No charges have been filed against the driver so far. But the NYPD Highway District's collision investigation squad is continuing its inquiry. Police reported that e-bike collisions citywide have been increasing this year. According to the latest traffic statistics from the NYPD, e-bike collisions throughout the boroughs are up over 30% year to date, with 540 incidents this year compared to 414 during the same period in 2024. The NYPD statistics reflect on a significant increase since July 23rd, when AM New York reported that e-bike collisions citywide are up a whopping 21.5% year to date, with 401 crashes compared to 330 during the same period last year per the traffic data. Meanwhile, the latest NYPD data also shows that overall collisions involving motorized two-wheeled devices, including mopeds and e-bikes, are down over 13% year to date this year compared to the same period in 2024. Okay. Let's see. 15 customer service centers. All right. Buying an Omni card and dealing with transit travel should get a little easier for strap hangers as the MTA plans to open 15 additional customer service centers throughout NYC. ADC officials said on Monday. So the MTA made the announcement at a July 28th NYC Transit and Bus Committee meeting. The station's position to get the new centers so far include East 180th Street and the 2 and 5 trains, Grand Central on the 4, 5, 6 trains, Far Rockaway, Monte Avenue on the A train, and Rockaway Parkway on the L train. The MTA official said each new center will have station agents on site to help customers with Omni, signing up for reduced fare programs, and many other functions. As we prepare to no longer issue or refill MetroCards come December, we want to ensure that we are doing all that we can to provide the best customer service to help our riders fully transition to Omni and gain any additional support needed, said MTA New York City Transit President Demetrius Critchlow. Yeah. All right. Let's see. The new centers will open at the start of 2026, though an exact date has not been announced. In 20 MTA customer service centers grow with Omni rollout. In 2023, the MTA opened new customer service centers in all five boroughs as Omni usage expanded. The centers are repurposed station booths with a modern look, complete with enhanced lighting, canopies, and wrap signage intended to make them more inviting. End quote. We heard great things from our customer service centers, our customers, and our workforce. So this investment is intentional and it's the right thing to do. Critchlow's, hold on, Critchlow or Critchhow. Don't really. Tag for the new centers was not immediately known. Um, the first set of customer service centers opened in February 2023 at Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue, Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Center, and 161st Street Yankee Stadium centers are also open at 34th Street Penn Station, Flushing Main Street in Queens, and St. George on the Staten Island Railway. The more welcoming, well lit centers coincide with the MTA's ongoing effort to reconfigure the role and duties of the traditional subway station agent that bring them out of an enclosed booth and into the public to engage with the riders. Customer service center employees, however, still work primarily behind the glass. Critchlow said the MTA will share more information about the centers in the months ahead. Yeah, that's going to be a long time, actually. So that's probably going to have to wait till like next year. And our very last transit topic here has to do with um, the DOT of NYC installing Brooklyn's high traffic Flatbush Avenue. All right, so let's see. Let's see. All right. So, all right. So the agency aims to speed up the commute for the 132,000 daily riders that pass through the area. The New York City Department of Transportation on Flatbush Avenue will be installed this fall after it received public feedback on a block by block design that runs from Livingston Street to Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn through downtown Brooklyn, North Park Slope, and Prospect Heights. The additions will impact 132,000 daily riders across the Flatbush corridor, a high crash corridor. According to the agency, the redesign comes following an analysis of traffic patterns that shows the project would reduce cut through traffic on Flatbush Avenue. The project is expected to reach completion in 2026. End quote. We are excited to get Flatbush Avenue moving. Today, 132,000 daily bus riders are stuck waiting too long for slow buses. Drivers are caught in a mess of traffic, and pedestrians are left crossing intersections clogged with vehicles, said NYC DOT Commissioner Edonis Rodriguez. These new bus lanes will speed up bus service and make the street safer for everyone. Bus and safety challenges. Flatbush Avenue has deemed a Vision Zero priority corridor, meaning the agency assesses it as one of the most dangerous streets in Brooklyn, as 140 people have been killed or severely injured within the last 5 years. The B41, the bus line, to see improvement with the upgrade. 4.4 million riders, making it one of the 10 busiest bus routes in the city. The agency notes the ridership total comes from the fact that nearly 60% of the households along the stretch do not have access to a personal vehicle. The agency is implementing these lanes as riders of bus routes along the avenue can see bus speeds drop to as low as 4 miles per hour during rush hour traffic conditions. Um, Flatbush Flatbush bus lane design and implementation. Beyond the center bus lanes, the agency is also implementing new pedestrian spaces to aid in the flow of traffic and shorten pedestrian crossing lengths. The project also will adjust curb regulations along the avenue to give commercial businesses better support for their delivery needs. The center running bus lane design features several key elements, including six large concrete bus boarding islands that will span more than 13,000 square feet to create physically separated bus lanes. In addition, 14,300 square feet of new painted pedestrian space, 11 dedicated loading zones, which can fit over 50 trucks or 83 passenger vehicles, up to 14 new roadway bike parking area, which can accommodate more than 170 bikes. The agency says the center running lanes were the best choice to increase bus speeds and reduce danger to pedestrians by creating physically separate spaces for buses to keep them from conflict with personal vehicles. The agency also noted its previous successes with projects of this type, citing that the center installed bus lanes on Edward L. Grant Highway in the Bronx reduced total injuries for the area by 17%. To supplement the center running lanes, NYC DOT will install concrete boarding islands in the street to provide a more train like experience for riders as they board and exit buses and wait to cross. Beyond increasing the safety for bus riders, the agency says it expects that the new implementation would also reduce traffic volume on Flatbush Avenue based on its traffic analysis of the area. Beginning this fall, the agency expects work to be completed by the fall of 2026, with lane marking and painted curb extensions being completed before this winter, with the rest of the work to be completed when the weather warms next year. By implementing center running bus lanes on Flatbush Avenue, NYC DOT is not only improving commutes down the Flatbush corridor, but also laying the groundwork for the implementation of a true bus rapid transit system throughout Brooklyn, said Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso. Hundreds of thousands of Brooklynites rely on our bus system every day. They deserve street infrastructure designed for mass transit and service that is efficient and reliable. I commend NYC DOT and Commissioner Rodriguez for investing in one of our most vital transit corridors, and I look forward to continued progress toward a bus rapid transit system that reaches every corner of our borough. Okay. Okay, let's make some noise. Let's make some noise for the deal for NYC DOT for doing their part for Brooklynites in their communities. All right. Okay, you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this though, man. This has to do with PBS and NPR losing funding, all because of us, all because of Cheese Face President 47. Ain't that some bullshit? All right, let's get it. Let's get into it right here. With let's get into it right here with chatting all the jazz topics in terms of what's going on with what's going on, not not in the whole world, but like locally within the tribe and other crazy stuff. So here it is, chatting all the jazz. Let's do this. Okay, here's what's happening here. Here's what's happening here. This is very crazy. And with all these fucking cuts. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here. Um sorry. Um all right. Let me give myself a little water. All right. While President Lyndon B. Johnson spoke after signing the Public Broadcasting Act of 1967, he marveled at technologies like radio and television and satellites and echoed the words of Samuel Morse in sending the first telegraph message. What hath man wrought? Johnson asked. And how will man use his inventions? Johnson offered an answer to his own question. While we work every day to produce new goods and to create new wealth, we want most of all to enrich man's spirit. That is the purpose of this act. The years that followed brought forth the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, PBS and NPR, largely with bipartisan support. It also led to a framework of laws intended to ensure those organizations were protected from political pressure. Um, CPB began funneling an ongoing subsidy to hundreds of public media outlets across the country. Out of that system came original programs that have become familiar to all corners of the country, which includes Sesame Street, PBS NewsHour, All Things Considered, Tiny Desk, Nova, Antiques, Roadshow. They were on the air and on platforms that Johnson could never have envisioned. All helped foster a sense there was something for everyone. That seeming consensus under sustained attack was shattered this week. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill have passed legislation on a narrow party line basis to eliminate all federal funding for public broadcasting next 2 years. That's $1.1 billion previously approved the Republican led Congress and cheese face President 47. Wow. So they really mean to tell people that watch this that they are screwed, right? Screwed. That's what it is. Well, that really sucks. Yeah. Okay, so the reverse is notionally due to the need to cut funds to help pay for new Republican priorities, including an expansion of immigration enforcement and extension of President Chief President 47's prior tax cuts. Yet, Chief Face President 47 had campaigned on retribution and made the news media a core element of his grievance. Public broadcasting has offered a ready target given the government funding and had excuse me as he has repeatedly claimed NPR and PBS demonstrate ideological bias. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. This guy is a fucking idiot and a fucking spoiled brat. All right. This guy doesn't know what it's like to fucking struggle. Anyway, last week the president ramped up pressure on wavering GOP lawmakers, posting any Republican that votes to allow this monstrosity to continue broadcasting will not have my support or endorsement. Another House Speaker Mike Johnson of Louisiana said on Tuesday the time had come to turn off federal largesse to public media. This is, in our view, the misuse of taxpayer dollars, he said. They are not objective. They pretend to be so. In its origination, NPR and PBS might have made some at it, but it shouldn't be subsidized by taxpayers. Without federal subsidy, some stations will wither, excuse me. While NPR receives just a small amount of direct federal government support, less than percent of its annual revenue, PBS and local stations rely on it far more heavily. For public radio stations, federal funding makes up, on an average, 8 to 10% of their budgets. For PBS and its member stations, the figure stands on average at about 15%. But that level varies widely. Executives at small stations, especially those that serve rural or tribal audiences, one, they could be devastated or even knocked off the air when aid from Washington fails to arrive at the start of the fiscal year in October. Tri-State Public Media in Indiana puts a special emphasis on agricultural coverage and has a show dedicated to food and farming. Given the impact of that industry in its region, it already is suffering from a loss of funding from the state government. About a third of its revenue comes from Washington. Tim Black, the chief executive, says the loss of federal funds would be pretty darn close to being catastrophic. He says the station can drain its financial reserves and sell off its headquarters to survive another year or two. After that, it may go off the air. Others are preparing for a smaller, scrappier future. I came here because what we do for free. We try to reach everyone regardless of their ability to pay, says Rogers, the executive vice president and general manager of WXXI, the NPR and PBS member station, member stations in Rochester, New York. It will test every single shred of creativity we have to continue to try to serve our mission, which we will do, Rogers says. Yet she warns that public media stations won't be able to do all they do now. We know that we can do oh, we know that we can do it as best we can, but there will be communities left out, and there will be issues uncovered, and there will be much lost, in my opinion, Roger says. And she points out to the $545 million saved annually, less than 1 in 100 million dollar annual budget. All for such a tiny, really 1.60, excuse me, $1.60 a person in this country per year for a tiny commitment of dollars, Roger says. Intensifying scrutiny on national networks. Beyond the loss of the direct federal subsidy, NPR and PBS executives say privately they expect to feel the ripple effects of budget crisis at member stations. While the stations receive the vast majority of federal funds, they use a significant amount of that money to pay the networks for the right to run their programs. It would be hard for many of them to go without those national programs serve audiences throughout much of the day and help proper stations fundraising drives. 20 years ago, in our first in person conversation, I asked then NPR chief executive Ken Stern whether the network should forego the $1 million subsidy it received at the time in order to escape periodic political flare ups. Then, former President George W. Bush appointee as CB so no excuse me CPB board chairperson per se, um, had accused PBS of liberal bias and was pressuring the network over specific programming choices. It was an off the record get to know you chat, though Stern doesn't mind my reflecting on it here all these years. Stern told me it was important that NPR received federal funds so it would have a place at the table and could advocate for public radio stations. On Wednesday, I asked him to revisit his thinking. It worked until it didn't, Stern says. Stern says the local stations always enjoyed more favor from lawmakers, even conservatives, than the national networks. Even today, I suspect that left to their own devices, many Republicans would still funding, Stern says. It's just that now every vote is a political loyalty test, unfortunately. While a few Republican senators voiced support for local member stations over the past week, nearly all condemned NPR, including Maine's Susan Collins, often considered the most liberal Republican in the Senate. Government funding in the U.S. are incompatible. 6 years after my conversation with Stern, another controversy exploded: the tenure of one of his successors, Vivian Schiller. Commentator Juan Williams had just been ousted by her chief news executive over remarks he had made on Fox News. Then an undercover camera stunt by right wing provocateur James O'Keefe cemented her fate. Republicans used NPR as a rallying cry in the waning weeks of the 2010 elections to help take back the U.S. House of Representatives. Schiller argues this week's votes were inevitable and that NPR leaders should have prepared for this action by walking away from the go. Any evidence based news organization that reports critically is going to be accused of left wing bias, Schiller says. Journalism and government funding in the United States, those two are incompatible. That said, when I see these accusations of bias against what I consider one of the finest news organizations in the world, very, very painful. Schiller says these accusations against NPR news organizations are flat out wrong. So that's where we are. It's excruciating. Um, while PBS stirs controversy too, NPR far more expansive news coverage draws the lion's share of public outrage. The late former CEO John Lansing, who retired in early 2024, considered diversity in hiring and programming choices both a moral imperative and a business strategy to broaden its reach. NPR's staff came closer to reflecting America's racial and ethnic complexity. Its audiences did not appreciate appreciable appreciably budge. Conservatives noted that the shift and often criticized it. They also singled out NPR coverage of Hunter Biden's laptop, the question of the origins of the COVID-19 virus, and issues concerning LGBTQ people, particularly transgender rights. Some people with ties to NPR agree with elements of the criticism. Bruce Drake, a former vice president for news at NPR in the early 2000s, argues that the network has lost more support from its audiences than it is willing to admit, and not simply due to changes in how people consume media in the digital age. Jeez, that's crazy, man. Yeah, the NPR issue is not as much political bias as it sounds. Cultural orientation, sensibilities, and tone, the same things the that the Democrats were so tone deaf about in the 2024 election, writes Drake. Last year, Yuri Berliner, then a veteran business editor at the network, published an essay in the Free Press that revived the issue. Berliner um, castigated the network for embracing what he characterized as a progressive mindset instead of a more open minded quest for truth in its reporting. He asked for a meeting with NPR's new chief executive, Catherine Mara, um, who had started days earlier. She declined. He left NPR for a free press soon after. Berliner says the Senate votes marks a sad day. NPR was a treasured national trust, Berliner said in a text message. It no longer is one. Instead of restoring the journalism gold standard of neutral impartial, impartiality, the NPR censorship, excuse me, the NPR leadership chose to squander the last year as the network doubled down on agenda driven journalism by and for progressiveness. So here we are. After Berliner's essay was published, conservative critics of NPR scoured, scored, scoured Mara's social media posts. They found she had condemned um, Cheeseface President 47 during his first term and proclaimed support for then candidate Joe Biden in 2020. Being CEO of NPR and Mara's first job in journalism, the network's board said she was entitled to such views in a prior life. she nonetheless became a lightning rod for Republican lawmakers in the 16 months since. NPR officials have resolutely defended the fairness of the network's reporting, though they say they are open to criticism. In an effort to shore up public trust, Mar and NPR's chief content officer created a senior editing team to ensure high level review and awareness of all news content before broadcast or posting. That was paid for by a grant from the CPB. Stations confronted a changed landscape. Some station managers say they too have periodically complained about news judgment to the network, but they attest to the value provided by NPR and PBS programming and news coverage. Others have spoken of the reporting collaborations NPR has fostered in recent years as a success. Texas Public Radio in San Antonio has taken the lead on reporting on the recent deadly floods in the Lone Star State. But Dan Katz, the station's news director, cites a collaboration with the Texas newsroom, a joint project with other public media state in helping him break news. That newsroom has been cultivated in part with federal money and CPB grants, Katz says. Ironically, as political debate over NPR has led cheese face President 47's congressional allies to wipe out federal funds for public broadcasting. Several station officials say they have never worked more closely with the network to deliver top-notch local coverage of regions far from NPR's headquarters in Washington or major bureaus in New York or Los Angeles. Maria Amara, the executive director of PBS Utah, NPR affiliate KUER, excuse me, yeah, KUER, and the bilingual station Avanza, says she's ready to move on from the political debate. It has just drained us of time and energy need to face other existential questions about our system and our public service, she says. She hopes stations now forge an even stronger relationship with the national networks and each other to become more viable and vibrant. It is about public service, she says. We are needed by our listeners. We feel that clarity of mission. I'm so sorry about NPR and PBS that got out of money. That's that has to be the toughest thing to ever fucking face. I mean people who got kids actually look up to PBS like on channel 13 on cable stations. And without the funding for that, they can't even do any any new seasons or anything like that. That's crazy, man. That's fucking crazy anyway. That's unfucking believable. Wow. All right. You know, speaking of crazy, speaking of crazy, we need to talk about the NYC public hearings of casino talks. We gotta talk. I know this is a heated this is a heated issue as far as like now let's see. Now I know this has been a heated issue and stuff, so I know there was some deal and flushing and whatnot that they have rejected deals. So here's what's going on here. So of course, actually, so here's what's going on. Deadline for the New York City casino licenses to move on to the final phase of approval is quickly approaching. community advisory committees for each of the 8 applicants looking to fill the final 3 slots in New York's casino roster have met with representatives of each project to discuss the outline plan for each casino in August. Um, Most have already had their first public hearing to allow the community to chime in on outstanding issues or why they believe these projects could benefit their area. All 8 applicants committee will hold one more, if not multiple, public hearings leading up to the September 30th deadline for CACs to decide whether or not to move their project in front of the gaming facility location board. The board has final say on who will receive licensure. The expected date for decisions is December 1st, according to the board website. Um, so yeah, so these meetings took place at Avenue, 11th Avenue, and 41st Street in Manhattan, and of course, it took place on at the Javits Center, 429 11th Avenue. That took place on September 8th of Monday. Park Woods Point in Queens, September 9th, 4 p.m., 7 p.m., 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., September 16th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and Queensboro Hall, 120th, 55 Queens Boulevard, Atrium, Bailey, Bronx Ferry Point, the Bronx, September. It took place September 9th, 6 p.m. American Turner's New York Main Dining Room, 748 Clarence Avenue. That took place. Okay, so Coney Island, Brooklyn took place September 10th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Coney Island YMCA, 2980 West 29th Street. Caesar's Palace, um, Times Square, 1515 Broadway, Manhattan. That already took place September 11th, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. 235 West 44th Street. Freedom Plaza, 686 First Avenue, Manhattan. That took place September 15th. That was a Monday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Scan Scandinavia House, Victor Borge Hall, lower level, 58 Park Avenue, and Resort World NYC Aqueduct Racetrack, which took place this past Monday, September 15th. Um, Queensboro Hall, 12055 Queens Boulevard, Atrium, MGM, Empire City, 810 Yonkers Avenue, Yonkers, and of course it took place. It took place September 16th, 6 p.m. Yonkers, Montessori Academy Auditorium, 160 Woodlawn Avenue. All right, so to check out the hearings, you can to check out all the hearings. It'll be live streamed on the Gaming Commission's YouTube channel, which you can subscribe over there as well. Make sure you check stuff and yeah, there you go. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Next we have all right, let's talk about Busta Rhymes receiving a star on the Hollywood Hall of Fame. All right, so wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. All right. Busta Rhymes, right? Legendary hip hop artist, rapper who raps so fast. Um, and this is according to Rock the Bells. Let's get into it. Oh my god. All right. Hundreds of fans gathered on the world famous Hollywood Boulevard to honor MC actor and arguably the greatest showman in hip hop, Busta Rhymes, in a ceremony hosted by Big Boy that could only be described by the lowest hanging fruit of a pun star studded. Busta, who can be seen in the new comedy The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson, and heard on the title track to Bad Guys 2 called Taking Everything, kept it strictly hip hop as he was welcomed in by his lyrical predecessors LL Cool J, Chuck D, and Big Daddy Kane, all of whom told stories of a fiery young MC with a giant heart and a pronounced gift for bringing unparalleled energy wherever he goes. The, the Dungeon Dragon swayed from tears to laughter, but it was all positive as he recounts then 3 decade long journey that led him to this very moment. Rock the Bells was in attendance to capture all the speeches and behind the scenes moments with stars in attendance, including Sylvia Rohn, Sway, OT Genesis, Michael Harry O. Harris, Stephen Hill, Shantae Moore, Joyner Lucas, DJ Scratch Tour, and of course Buster's lifelong hype man Split Star. So there you go, man. Congratulations to Buster Rhymes, man. Let's make some noise for Buster Rhymes for receiving the Hollywood Hall of Fame. The star for the Hollywood Hall of Fame. All right, let's do this. All right, all right. We need to talk about the weird combo of a watermelon and a tuna fish. This is the weirdest combination that I ever heard in my entire life, actually. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this shit, though, man. Oh, man. Let's talk about this shit. This is so fucking crazy right there and bizarre. Whoever came up with this idea is an idiot. And this is from Yahoo Life. Here to a vegan diet sometimes get their fill of meat. When your favorite burger joint is only minutes away for a quick lunch and weekends are filled with cookouts teeming with meaty fare, it's not uncommon to start craving something a bit lighter. Thankfully, barbecue season is also watermelon season, and you can whip up a tuna-esque salad or sushi roll using watermelon that fills a desire for delicate cuisine. You might initially think that watermelon as a substitute for fish seems odd, and you are not wrong. It's not so much of a stretch. It's not so much of a to imagine the fruit looking like tuna, as they both share a ruby red hue. But the texture, the taste, watermelon is about as far off from tuna as a tomato from is from beef patties. Oh shit. The keys to achieving a soft texture and diminishing the sweet taste of watermelon are marinating it and baking it. A marinade will eliminate much of the sweetness characteristic of the fruit and grant and granite flavors reminiscent of seafood. Baking the watermelon removes a great deal of the water content, creating a soft tuna-like texture. It is a dish that vegans and meat lovers alike can enjoy because it mimics the tuna. It mimics the tuna you get in a poke bowl with surprising accuracy. Yet, like any other culinary endeavor, the devil is in the details. Shiminy Christmas, man. What are people thinking about this combination? Ugh, this is ridiculous, man. While it is usually best to avoid buying shiny watermelons because they tend to be less ripe. That is exactly what to look for when transforming it into tuna. When the fruit is less ripe, it isn't as sweet, which makes reducing the perceived sweetness with your marinade a bit easier. Opting Opting for seedless varieties is also beneficial, so you don't have to spend time removing all those little buggers yourself. Once you have an ideal watermelon, remove the rind and cut it into slices about the size of a tuna steak. As for the flavorful marinade, an ample amount of soy sauce is paramount as it lends the watermelon some much needed umami. Rice vinegar will help impart acid and seafood like flavor, but opt for an unseasoned variety that has no added sugar. Apple cider or white vinegars also work. You also want to include sesame oil to incorporate some fat. From there, you can creative and tailor the marinade to your liking. Bits of nori bistal, more food flavor, crushed pepper will add a touch of heat, and a dash of miso paste. Miso paste can further amp up the umami. The watermelon should marinate for about at least 30 minutes, but allowing it to sit for up to 6 hours lets it soak up more flavor. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Place the slices on on a sheet pan lined with parchment paper and bake for about an hour. If the fruit has some give when poked with a fork, it is ready to slice into bite-sized pieces. Finish with some of the remaining marinade and a sprinkle of sesame seeds, and your mouth-watering vegan watermelon tuna is served. For more food goodness, join the Takeouts newsletter. Get taste tests, food and drink news, deals from your favorite chains, recipes, cooking tips, and more. Okay, let's see what I what I got um in this episode right here. Yes, we need to talk about we need to talk about we need to talk about some TV stuff. Let's talk about some TV stuff. Hang on 1 second. Let's talk about some TV stuff. Hold on a second. All right, let's get into some TV news right here with a little segment that I like to call TV show checkouts. Hold on 1 second. All right, so Megan the Stallion has a new TV show. Let's get into that, and then I'll get to some other TV shows that's premiering in the month of September. So here's what's happening here, according to Billboard. K-pop fans rejoice. You'll get to see some of your favorite acts perform alongside some of the biggest Western music acts in K-pop. The show, which was executive produced by Lionel Richie and Megan Thee Stallion, can be streamed via Apple TV Plus with a subscription now. Hosted by comedian Soo Jung Sun and starring Megan and global sensation Psy K-pop acts, some well-known and others up and coming, such as ITZY, Billy, Stacy, Kiss of Life, Black Swan, and Joe One. Share the stage with Kylie Minogue, Patti LaBelle, Spice Girls, Mel B, J Culture Club's Boy George for song battles that will be judged by a live audience in Seoul. So far, 8 episodes have dropped on Apple TV Plus. Yes, you can check that out. Yeah, check out those episodes. Hold on. Okay, there we go. K-pop is a reality show executive produced by Lionel Richie and Megan Thee Stallion. Each South Korean act is tasked with reinterpret. Hold on, reinterpreting these Western artists' most popular songs, turning them into a K-pop esque track down to the flashy choreography. Sounds cool. Iconic artists you all love will combine forces with our hottest K-pop groups to create performances like you've never seen. Megan says of the show in the teaser. Throughout 8 episodes, you'll see fresh new takes on tracks such as Savage, Wannabe, Ice Ice Baby, Lady Marmalade, Can't Get You Out of My Head, Motown Philly, Waterfalls, and more. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. When you sign up for Apple TV Plus, you'll have access to Apple TV original series and films such as Tetris, Wolves, Argyle and Selena Gomez, My Mind, and Me, along with new content added every month. Subscribers have the option to share their account with up to people, making the $9.99 a month stretch for the whole family. The best part, V Plus is ad free and allows for offline downloads. Service is widely available on a slew of devices, including iPhones, iPads, Macs, Apple TVs, smart TVs, streaming sticks, and gaming consoles. Oh wow. $9.99 for this? Man, I don't know about that one right there, man. And I don't even have an iPad. That's the only crazy part right there. All right. Want more K-pop with Apple TV Plus? You can stream shows such as K-pop Idols and Boys Planet right now. K-pop Idols is an Apple TV Plus original documentary that focuses on showcasing the trials and tribulations idols have to face behind the scenes. The project gives a look into the lives of acts such as Jesse Crave Cravity, and multinational girl group Black Swan, and the rigorous schedules and immense pressure they face. Boys Planet is a reality survival show that enlists 100 male acts to create a new K-pop boy group, the likes of which has never seen before. It is the successor to Girls Planet 99, a similar competition show format that was released in 2021. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so check out the show on Apple. Check out the show on K-pop on Apple TV Plus with 8 episodes out right now. All right, some stuff, man, that's premiering. So let's get into it right here. And I did talk about I did talk about the animation domination, so I'm gonna go over that again actually. So I'm gonna go over it. So um I'm gonna go over it though. Yeah, all right. So yeah, I already talked about September 27th. I already talked about that already. What is this? No thanks. All right, so September 28th. I already talked. I think I talked about some of the dates actually already. I already talked about so from September 18th. I started from September 18th to September 28th. Okay, so September 20th, season 36 on ABC. 60 Minutes, season 58 on CBS, followed by um, Mission Unstoppable, season 7 on CBS, and my all-time favorite cartoon of all time, The Simpsons, season 37 on Fox 5, followed by Universal Basic Guys, season 2 on Fox 5, Crapopolis, season 3 on Fox 5, as well as Bob's Burgers, season 16 on Fox 5. Check your local listings. Billy the Kid, season 3 and final season on MGM Plus. Sister Wives, season 20 on TLC. You got the Kelly Clarkson show that's premiering its seventh season on September 29th. Below Deck Mediterranean, season 10 on Bravo. Jake Makes It Easy, season 2 on FYI. Murder Before Even Sung, season 1 of British drama series on Acorn TV. September 30th, on brand with Jimmy Fallon, new unscripted series on NBC. Chad Powers, new comedy series on Hulu. October 1st, Abbott Elementary, season 4 on ABC. Shifting Gears, season 2 on ABC. The Golden Bachelor, season 2 time slot premiere on ABC. Chicago Med, Fire, and PD premiered their 11th season, 14th season, and 13th season on NBC. Love is Blind, season 9 on Netflix, followed by Ice Road Truckers, season 12 on History. The Friday the 13th Murders, new docuseries on ID. The Real Murders of Elm Street, new docuseries on ID. Uh, the Game You Never Play Alone, new drama series on Netflix. um, Karen Pyrie, season 2 on BritBox. October 3rd, Monster the Ed Gein Story, season 3 on Netflix, followed by The Sisters Grimm, new plus. Genie Make a Wish, new comedy series on Netflix. Bell Collective, season 6 on OWN. October 4th, Saturday Night Live premieres its 51st season on NBC. Lucky Dog Reunions, season 3 on CBS, followed by uh, Lucky Dog Reunions, season 3 on CBS. Lucky Dog Down Under, new docuseries on CBS, followed by Spy X Family of Spy and Family, season 3 on Crunchyroll. Um, October 5th, House of David, season 2 on Prime Video. The Real Housewives of Potomac, season 10 on Bravo. Masterpiece The Gold, season 1 of the British drama series on PBS. Masterpiece Maigret, PBS new drama series. New Orleans Soul of a City, new docuseries, Smiling Friends, adult season 3 on Adult Swim. October 6th, Dr. Seuss Horton, new children's animated series on Netflix. All right, October 7th, um, The Young and the Restless 53rd season on CBS. True Haunting, new documentary series on Netflix. Um, True Haunting. Wait, hold on. Yeah, the True Haunting, new documentary series, miniseries on Netflix. NHL on TNT, opening night on triple header, season 5 on ESPN. Alex versus America, season 5 on Food Network, followed by the Belay Brothers, Dragula, season 2 on Shutter. Balin out, season 2 on TLC. October 8th, NHL on TNT, season 5 on TNT. Is it Cake Halloween? New competition series, Netflix. October 9th, 911 season 9 moved from October 16th. Oh, wow. Yeah, October 19th. Season 9 on ABC. And the spinoff 911 Nashville new drama series moved from October 16th to the same day. Okay. And both of these are premiering on ABC. Um, um, has its season 22 premiere on ABC. Victoria Beckham new docuseries, um, on Netflix, followed by The Resurrected new drama series on Netflix, and Boots new drama series. October 10th, The Last Frontier new drama series, Apple TV Plus, followed by The New Force new drama series on Netflix. Q Q Rux Q Rux Q Rux Shetra new drama series on Netflix. The Braxtons season 2 on WeTV. Always Lady London new docuseries on Tubi. October 11th, Typhoon Family new drama series on Netflix. October 12th, which is a Sunday. No, hold on. Is it a Sunday? Yeah. Yeah, it's a Sunday. Matlock season 2 sneak preview on CBS. Elsbeth season 3 sneak preview on CBS. The Chair Company new comedy series on HBO. Um, October 13th, The Neighborhood season 8 and final season on CBS. DMV new comedy series on CBS. FBI season 7 on CBS, followed by Watson season 2 on CBS. TV We Love, the new docuseries on the CW, followed by Solar Opposites season 6 final season on Hulu. October 14th, NCIS season 22, NCIS Sydney season 3, NCIS Origins all premiere on October 14th on CBS. Splinter Cell Death Watch, new adult animated series, Netflix. Seven Little Johnsons, season 16. Swap, The Real Housewives edition, new unscripted series on Bravo. Beyond Paradise, season 3 on BritBox. October 15th, Loot, Apple TV Plus, season 3 on Apple TV Plus. Murdoch, Death in the Family, new drama limited series on Hulu. And of course, the spin-off to 106 in Park, 106 in Sports, new countdown series on BET. And of course, Thursday, October 16th, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, season 2 on CBS, followed by season 4, Ghost on CBS. Season 2 time slot premiere. Matlock season 2, Elsbeth season 3 time slot premiere. The Diplomat season 3 on Netflix. Starting 5 season 2 on Netflix. Thomas and Friends Sodor Sings Together new animated children's series on Netflix. Devil in Disguise John Wayne Gacy drama series on Peacock. Friday, October 17th, Fire Country returns with season 4. Sheriff Country, the spinoff to Fire Country, new drama series. And of course, Boston Blue, new drama series. They all premiere on CBS. Mr. Scorsese, a new docuseries on Apple TV Plus. All right. I want to get into hold on, I want to get into a lineup. I want to get into a lineup of some fun activities to do for the week and weekend actually. So I'm gonna actually do like a special remains to be seen segment actually. So I want to get into a lineup of things. All right. Let me see. Yeah, so I want to get into a lineup of things actually. So let's get into it right here with a special segment of remains to be seen. All right. All right, I have a lineup of some fun activities to do for the week and stuff in the month of September. I want to get into it right here, get that out the way before I forget. So here's what's going on here. Hang on one second here. Here's what's going on here. So, all right. So what we have are some music performances. And I believe, hang on a second. I believe Andy mentioned some performers that's going to be performing at Madison Square Garden. Some performances that's going to happen by Madison Square Garden. Let me find that. Let me find that right here. All right, some performances that's happening. Performances that's happening. First, let's talk about music performances at what is it? Forest Hills Stadium in Forest Hills, Queens, New York. So tomorrow, Mount Joy will be performing. That's Friday, September 19th. Saturday, Chaperone will be performing on Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and the 21st. Tuesday, September 23rd, and Wednesday, September 24th. All Things Go event that's happening at the Forest Hill Stadium. Go Lucy, Dacus, D. Joe, Gigi Perez, Rachel Chi, Nu Riri, Mon Latour, the Sarah Kinley, Goldie, Botelier. They are going to be performing Friday, September 26th, Saturday, September 27th. Dochi, Remy Wolf, Lola Young, Griff Peach, PRC, Michelle Alameda, Sunday, 1994. Sunday, September 28th, Claro, the Marias, the Last Dinner Party, Paloma Blonde Shell, G Flip, Joy Oladokum. Hey, nothing. Shawn Mendes with Eddie Benjamin Friday, Villager Saturday, October, and and of course there is an 8th, which is the Universal Circus. The Universal Circus right now. Yeah, so it's happening right now. You can get your tickets by going to www.universalcircus.com. You can also get it by Ticketmaster. And I believe it's $25. And speaking of Universal Circus, they're gonna be in Newark, New Jersey from October the 2nd through October 19th. So you can go get your tickets by going to www.ticketmaster.com. All right. That's for you. That's out there and all the people over there in New Jersey. That's for you. All right. And I believe Andy said that that Chaperone and Sabrina Carpenter, they're gonna be performing in Madison Square Garden. If I'm not mistaken, let me take a look at this. Let me take a look at this actually. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, she's gonna be yes. So she's gonna be in Madison Square Garden. Yes, like I said, those dates that I just mentioned, those are the Madison Square Garden dates. And as for Sabrina Carpenter fans out there, let me see. Let me see. Madison Square Garden. Yes, she's gonna be in hold on a second here. So there is going to be some concerts it's going to be like a concert in Madison Square Garden, which is going to be it's going to be October 26th, October 28th, and the 29th. Of course, you can get your tickets. You can get your tickets at Ticket.com. All right. So there's going to be some dates actually. So yeah, and it's funny. Actually, this StubHub, and you also got SeatGeek that Woody talks about on his live streams, post game analysis. So check out SeatGeek. You can download it onto your iPhones, your Android phone, all that great stuff right there. So there you go. And yeah. Sabrina Carpenter tickets. Oh yeah, concert tour dates. Okay, the concert tour dates. So 29th, Madison Square Garden. Yeah. October 31st, Halloween. November 1st as well. So yeah, that's interesting. Wait a second. That's interesting. Hold on, that's very interesting. I didn't even know about this. Hang on one second. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So her tour starts October 25th. No, hold on. October 4th, October 1st. That's in Austin, Texas, at the Austin City Limits Music. Wait, October 4th, October 11th, October 23rd. PPG Paints Arena. Same location, that's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. October 26th and the 28th, 29th, and 31st, like I said, is in Square Garden. November 1st, same Madison Square Garden as well. And November 4th is going to be in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Bridgestone Arena, Nashville, Tennessee. And November 10th, Scotia Bank Arena, Toronto, Ontario. Scotia Bank Arena in Toronto, Ontario on November 11th. That's Veteran. November 7th, November 17th, Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Same goes for the 19th of November, the 20th, and the 22nd. The 23rd is included as well. Now, let me see. And I think she has a break. And I think she has another one that's starting next year. Okay, so March next year, the 2026, March 13th, Lollapalooza, Chile, Santiago, Chile, Lollapalooza, Argentina, San Isidro, March 20th of next year, Estéreo Picnic, Bogota, Colombia, Brazil, Lollapalooza, Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's March 20th, and of course, April 10th, Coachella, Indio, California. So this is obviously this is from let me see a website here. So store SabrinaCarpenter.com. All right, so this is where you can actually check it out. There's other ways you can get your tickets. You can check out StubHub, SeatGeek, that Wardy has been talking about so much, which is also a good way to get your tickets, whether it's for music concerts, sporting events, whatever it may be. So there you go, right there. All right. Let me go to some podcasts. No, hold on. See. Hang on 1 second. Yes, let's go to the podcast juice of the week. Yes, podcast juice of the week. Let's get to it right here. Hang on 1 second. Yes, podcast juice of the week. All right, this is where I recommend some podcast shows for you to listen to. All right, so let's go to let's get into it. All right. So let's get into it right here. All right, so Funny Medicine Podcast. You have No Chaser with Tim Chansaransu, Dudes Behind the Foods Podcast, Tim Chansaransu and David Go. Thanks for Tipping Podcast, Tim Chansaransu and Megan Batoon Podcast. And of course, you folks out there can actually get a chance to listen to my 3 separate podcast shows that I do, which is the primary one is Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast, my comedy, my sports platform, Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, and of course you can check out the entertainment review show Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast as well. You got TMZ Lives, TMZ Sports, the TMZ podcast, 2 Angry Men podcasts, Get to the Hook podcast, Big Down Under podcast, Much to Discuss, Deeply Well podcast with Devi Brown, podcast with Billy Bush, Drink the Movies, The Simpsons Did It podcast, The Trap Nerds podcast, Reforge Gaming, Blocked podcast, The Optimist Project with Yara Shahidi, Council Culture, R&B. Can we talk R&B podcast? Higher Learning with Van Linkton and Rachel Lindsay. Just Winging It by Cassandra, aka Saucy. The Breakfast Club, Way Up with Angela Yee's Lip Service, Native Land Podcast, Dish Nation, The Binge Bucket, The Morning Hustle Podcast, Bully and the Beast Podcast, Sonic Weekly, Drink Champs, and The Toast. Some more here. The Need to Know Podcast, My Audio Nerds, Marvel Cinematic Universe Podcast, Popcast, Bag Fuel, Earn Your Leisure, What You Thought, the Movie Podcast, DC TV Podcast, We Talk Back Podcast, the Sega Guys, Sega Talk Podcast, More Better with Stephanie and Melissa. Yeah, that's a podcast as well. The Box Office Bears Movie Podcast, The Scope, Jumpers Jump, The Popcorn Modules, Side Scrollers, Daily Video Games and Entertainment Podcast, E-News, The Official Marvel Podcast, Remember the Game, The Retro Gaming Podcast, Secret Levels, Not All Hood Podcast, Game Theory, Cinephobe, Glitch Cube, The Fun House with Kid and Play Podcast, Film versus Film, The Broken Traditions Podcast, Frames Per Second Podcast, Is the Mic Still On Podcast, Dead End Gaming, Kind of Funny Video Game Podcast, Video Gamers Podcast, A Journey Worth Traveling Podcast, Detroit State of Mind Podcast, Movie World, Rattle and Rolls, Broken Record Podcast, Screen Junkies, Poor Minds, It's Up There Podcast, and Rock Solid with Memphis Bleak Podcast. Inside Jeopardy, Accidentally Informed by Claudia Jordan. Accidentally Informed podcast by Claudia Jordan. I'm Just Here to Listen podcast. Pod with Meg, Successful Toy podcast. We Sound Crazy podcast. Cheesy Control, Your Scary podcast by Patrick Cloud. No More Late Fees podcast. All the above podcast. Real Rejects podcast. The Wellness Driven Life Show, Baby, This is Kiki Palmer podcast, Masters of Self University podcast, Movie Friends, High Score, High Stakes podcast, Get Played, The Flicks and Friends podcast, Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, 70 millimeters, Let's Genius Brain by David Go, Retro Pioneers podcast, The Truth After Dark podcast, the latest with Lauren LaRosa podcast, Blocked podcast, Shirley's Temple, the Vertiverse podcast, R&B Money podcast, the Rising of Janelle Gonzalez, Connect with Christina podcast, Gamers Week podcast, Video Gamers podcast, Mojo Motion podcast, Seriously Lighthearted podcast, True Crime News, the podcast by Anna Garcia, Brotherly Love podcast, Escape the Mojoverse, and an X-Men Comics podcast, and Dialed In. Let's see. The Fit File with DC Rainmaker and Des Fit. Reliving single, Two Hot Takes, the Escape Pod podcast, off the record, AWF. Mona Kosar, Adby, Sega. Hold on, Side Scroller Daily Video Game and Entertainment Podcast, Sega Guys, Sonic Weekly, Funny Gamecast, Video Game Podcast, Sega Talk, High Scores, High Stakes Podcast, the Flicks and Friends Podcast, Movie Friends, No More Late Fees, Superhero Cinephiles, The Block Party, a Minecraft podcast, Retro RGB, The Squeeze, Jokes on You podcast, Sophia with an F, the official Xbox podcast, Giggly Squad podcast, Fundamentals podcast, Off the Record podcast. I forget the two ladies' names, but y'all know what I'm talking about here. Y'all just look for it for yourselves. Clarity comes later. Clarity comes later. And we have more Thoughts podcasts. R&B Money podcast, Drink Champs, Shirley Temples, and Movie Friends. Okay, so all right. We have Calm Before the Storm podcast, Soul Wizard podcast, Film Buds podcast, the Escape Pod podcast, the John Campion Show podcast, From Now On podcast, On the Come Up podcast, Cheekies and Chill, the Super City Club, Testing the Equipment podcast, Dissect That Film, the Wonderland Effect podcast, the People Mover podcast, Suburb Talks podcast, What You Thought podcast, and Kind of Funny Game Cast, daily video game reviews, impressions, and predictions. Kind of Funny daily video games news show for two itis. Oh shit. And review movie and TV shows, Triangle Squared, a PlayStation podcast, Analytic Dreams, Notorious Mass Effect, The Advisor with Stacey Shalemi, Unstable Creatures podcast with Selena Ubius, Hot and Bothered with Melissa Ford podcast, What's the Juice podcast, High Scores, High Stakes podcast, This Week in R&B podcast, Frames Per Second podcast, Breakbeat, A Better You podcast, The Shakara Show, Small Talk with Sheila, Testing the Equipment podcast, Where Are We podcast, The Fifth Element Hip Hop podcast. Okay, here we go. All right, man. The Razzle Dazzle Show, Pop Culture Crisis, the 85 South Comedy Show, Super Game Boys, Discover Long Island, New York podcast, the Daily Edge podcast, Organized Chaos podcast, Native Land podcast, Retro Pioneers podcast, Solely for Laughs podcast, Spout podcast, Blocked podcast, Comic Book Club podcast, Thank You for Saying No podcast, Talking TV, Seriously Lighthearted podcast, Live from the Green Room podcast with Tony Rock, 280 Plus podcast, The Wonderful Effect podcast, Film Talk with AJ Dean, Dude, It's Entertainment, Grits and Eggs podcast, the Baller Alert Show, the Unfiltered Brew podcast, Cine Mash, Trash Tuesday, Riffs and Rhythms podcast, Act Up with Alana J, Humble Hustle podcast, and bunch of Nick Cannon Nick Cannon. Hold on, Nick Cannon Late at Night podcast, Fud Around and Find Out podcast, Scream Junkies, South Beach Sessions podcast, Mystery Crate, Spout podcast, the Square Round Table podcast, Where Are We podcast, Lost in Jersey podcast, Now and Then Some podcast. Okay, so we got that. And Eating While Broke podcast, Thick Threads podcast, Comic Book Club podcast, Locked Off Logic podcast, Mayan Bialik's Breakdown podcast, Arsenic Culture was a good though podcast, Passion Pod, Everything is Learning podcast, the Razzle Dazzle Show podcast, that hashtag show, Mojo Motion podcast, the Blurred Official podcast, Power User with Taylor Lorenz podcast, Listen to the Words podcast, Real Raw Radio podcast, Humble Kings Comic Book Show podcast, Though with a Splash of Tea podcast, Spill It with Mesh, Voices of an Artist podcast, Two Sisters and a Brother podcast, which is coming soon. I don't know the exact date, but I will look into it when I get a chance. Taste Music Here Food Show podcast, Give Me the Remote podcast, Cinematic Traveler podcast, the Flickaholics podcast, Better Call Daddy podcast, Pop Culture Reflections podcast, First Gen Gamers podcast, Escape the Multiverse podcast, Culture Shocked podcast, Live from the Green Room podcast with Tony Rock, Past the Sticks podcast, Gamers Week podcast, Guardians of the Galaxy podcast, Game Talk, Game Theory, the Comics Culture Cosplay podcast, Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald, Flat Tire Andy's Ride With Me podcast, Lady Gang, Retro Hangover, Game Scoop, the Media Lunch Break podcast, Heroes for Hire, On the Come Up podcast, Rejects, Meet Bridget, and Film Bros podcast. All right, so let me try to hurry up. I'm not gonna be able to do the other episode. I probably have to do that shit tomorrow when I get back from my interview. Let me see. All right, on video game entertainment newsroom. All right, let's get into it. All right. All right, some gaming news. So Atari. Let's get into Atari real quick. All right, so Atari's decision to release its own Metroidvania game on the same day as Hollow Knight Silk Song appears to have seriously harmed its initial momentum. Adventure of Samsara, is a modern reboot of adventure. The 1980 action adventure title credited as one of the most influential games of all time, according to Video Games Chronicle. The game, which is developed by Brazilian studio Ilex Games and published by Atari, makes use of pixel art and combines classic gameplay, a deeply connected world, and a heady, twisting narrative of death, rebirth, and memory. However, Atari decided to release Adventure of Samara on September 4th, the same day as the hugely anticipated Hollow Knight Silk Song. Most publishers will have sought to avoid releasing their game on the same day as such a massively hyped game, regardless of its genre. But to actually release a Metro Metroidvania on the same day as one of the most eagerly awaited Metroidvania games ever, a miscalculation. According to Steam DB and originally spotted by Kotaku, Adventure of Samsara has only managed to hit a concurrent player count of 12 players on Steam since its release. Rough estimates on the site calculate that the number of people who bought the game on Steam ranges from around 190 to 360. The game is also available on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, so it's not yet clear how well it's sold across all formats. Despite its apparent very slow start, Adventure of Samsara appears to at least have won over those who actually did buy it. At the time of writing, the game has 14 reviews on Steam and has a 100% positive rating. I bought this because I loved the demo and I devs um, cojones or conjones, whatever how you pronounce this, and launching with that other game that released today. Reviewer Touche um, Fatouche said on Steam. Oh man, awesome audio design, beautiful visuals, and fun gameplay. This one has a lot going for it. It's a really cool game. The visuals are just insane, and its atmosphere is very good. Added reliever, Qui Bayo, the game for 6 hours since its release. I highly recommend it. Kudos to everyone at Ilex Games. Great work. I hope it gains the traction it deserves. In a recent video with VGC, Atari's Wade Rosen cited the game as one of Atari's attempts to introduce its older IP to modern players, something that's harder for a company whose most influential games are essentially primitive by today's standards. The challenge for making original work at Atari is it's not quite like Sega, Rosen told us. Sega's bringing back some of their classics, amazing. I'm really looking forward to Jet Set Radio, but that conceptually is the same game. It's updated, but you are not conceptually changing it. But what is Adventure today? We take swings. Adventure of Samsara is a really good game. It's got this esoteric, bizarre that the original Adventure has mixed with Prince of Persia and Shadow of the Colossus. But you are still having to get pretty far from what you did because the original is everything built on that, first of all. So to make a sequel that's just like the original is really to make something, excuse me, to make nothing, because everything kind of was built on the shoulders of that. And the second thing is anything you do is naturally going to be more abstract from it. So it's tough games that are original enough to attract new gamers and still get the old gamers. And we try and making, like, I think Adventure of Samsara is a really good game. The original Adventure, which was released on Atari um, 2600 in 1980, is credited as being one of the first major video games to have a hidden Easter egg and the first to have it described as such. The game features a secret room with programmer Warren Robinette's name in it, created by Robinette as a protest at Atari's decision not to allow its programmers to create themselves in games. Instead of disciplining Robinette, Atari's director of software development, Steve Wright, suggested that future games should also have hidden secrets in them, coining the term Easter eggs to describe them. All right. All right. Acclaim. All right. So it was announced back in March that Acclaim, which declared bankruptcy on September 2004, has been resurrected by led by CEO Alex Joseph, the former founder and CEO of Graffiti Games. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Okay, yeah. The Play Acclaim Showcase. The returning publisher revealed 9 new titles by indie studios. We're ecstatic to relaunch Acclaim with a lineup that captures our legacy of bold creativity and delivers fresh, unforgettable experiences, Joseph said in a statement. These games are just the beginning of our mission to redefine fun for our players everywhere. The full list of games, complete with Acclaim's own description, is as follows. Of course, Toss Toss Down developer Fur Factor coming to PC and consoles to be announced. Deliver packages in the world where everything's out to kill you. Escape the wild hazard. Fight back using wacky power ups and choose from a variety of perks to improve your chances of survival. Um, Ground Zero Hero developer Rowan Edmondson coming to PC and consoles to be announced. Zero Hero is an action roguelite with light survival elements set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Battle mutated freaks, absorb their radioactive guts, mutate yourself to gain new powers, and eat a lot of candy. Basketball Classics, developer Nominal Gamo, coming out coming to out now on PC, coming soon to Nintendo Switch. 505 Pro Basketball, born from the golden era of sports games. This spiritual successor to the 8-bit baller bridges the gap between retro and today's simulation games. Side-scrolling arcade action is strategy. 3-button gameplay is easy to pick up, but it's the dynamic play calling that elevates this title beyond just long bombs and acrobatics. Pixel Washer, developer of Valadria, coming to PC and consoles to be announced. Step into the hooves of a pixel, a plucky pig armed with a powerful power washer, tasked with cleaning up a messy town. You'll spray your way through a variety of exciting challenges. The Prisoning Fletcher's Quest, developer Elden Pixels, coming to PC and consoles to be announced. Enter the mind of Fletcher Howie Jr., a game developer on the brink of physical and emotional burnout during the final stages of intense project. After a visit to the psychologist that goes horribly, you must escape your perilous mental prison in a Metroidvania drenched in anxiety based on a very true story. Grid Beat, Ridiculous Games coming to PC and consoles to be announced. A rhythm fueled cyber dungeon crawler where every move must match the music or risk total system shutdown. You just breached NAS OS, the planet's most fortified corporate network, and made off with a payload of priceless data. Now, side hunted by rogue security protocols and hostile malware, your only way out, sync with the system, move to the beat, and escape before the grid locks you down for good. Talaka, potato kid. Oh shit! Coming to PC and consoles to be announced, a fast-paced, combat-driven rogue light that brings Afro-Brazilian mythology to life in a vivid, hand-painted world unlike anything you've seen. Hyper Yuki Snowboard Syndicate, um, developed by Wabi Sabi Design Incorporated, coming to PC and consoles to be announced. Welcome to Snowboard Syndicate. Race, compete, and explore the slopes as a colorful cast of unique characters. But what's snowboarding without a little bit of drip? Through exploring and racing, like cosmetics such as designs for your snowboard and clothes to make you shine the brightest while shredding. This reminds me of the SS Tricky games, but you know it's a lot different. Actually, this is like a lot different from that actually. So that's it's similar to SS Tricky, but it's a little different. And last but not least, Katana, Void Ma coming. It's out right now on PC consoles. Actually, it's out on PC consoles to be announced. Katana is a fast-paced Metroidvania-inspired action rogue light blending fluid abilities as you battle through a station sprawling with twisted, once human horrors. Adapt, survive, and descend into the shadows to uncover dark secrets, lovingly dubbed Dead Space Cells by early fans. All right, so all right, so right now, man, and before I wrap up here, I want to actually apologize for being on mute. Please forgive me. Um, I was trying to get this episode out the way so I could record the next episode, but I'm not going to be able to do it. I may have to do that tomorrow when I get back from the Buck Mason interview in Garden City, Long Island. So um, I will try to be back before I will try to be back before 6. So yeah. So in case anybody's wondering what happened here, I accidentally was on mute and I forgot to unmute myself. So there you go right there. Let me set myself up here actually. Hmm. All right, so okay. Okay, let's wrap up here right now with this. Stream choices on the go. Let's go. All right, folks. You know what to do. Make sure you follow Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook alongside with Blue Sky Social, Threads, and of course Instagram. And of course, the same goes with my other podcast shows that I do, which is my sports edition show Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with my entertainment review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast. And of course, you can follow your host with the most, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York, on Threads and Instagram as well. And if you go to the link in bio, you're gonna see Linktree / G Money Stacks 555. It's gonna take you to some podcast feed links where you can listen to audio episodes, and we'll give a reminder about Apple Podcasts in a sec. So if you go to the link where it says Linktree / G Money Stacks 555, you're gonna see a whole list of audio streaming platforms. Starting with Odyssey, Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show grow. It helps people like me, who is a content creator and a host, to the encouragement and the confidence for me to keep going, to keep growing the show out, and everything else in between. So yeah, there you go. The comedy show podcast is on Castbox FM. We have Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM podcast, Overhaul FM podcast, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic, Snipped. You can also listen on Spotify. Make sure you add the podcast to your Spotify playlist. Make sure you stream, make sure you download, whatever you do to actually get your episodes and stuff. So make sure you press the notification on Spotify so you'll be able to be notified on when new episodes will be released. And you can also listen on Spotify for creators. You can also comment on there as well. Listen on TuneIn Radio alongside with Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the number one app where you can listen to your favorite music artists, your favorite rappers, including your favorite rappers, singers in R&B and other music genres. You can listen to hip hop artists. You can also listen to radio stations on the AM and FM stations. And of course, you can listen to the episodes of the comedy podcast for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is also follow, subscribe on iHeartRadio of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast. That's also on there alongside with streaming platforms. Make sure you follow those streaming platforms like I just mentioned, and also on YouTube. Make sure you grab the subscribe button for me by hitting the notification bell so you'll be notified on when I will be on the air live with new episode recordings, alongside with when the video podcast upload will be posted to the YouTube channel page. Leave a like and a comment alongside with the topics being discussed in each episode. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section, how you feel about the topics in today's episode and the previous episodes whatsoever. And like I said earlier, I do apologize for being on mute by accident by 16 minutes, so I'm making up for it. And also you can also share the podcast alongside with the Linktree link with all the podcast feed links to your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you're cool with from work. and of course, word of mouth is important. That you spread the word to your friends and along with different age groups. Um, Word of mouth is important. All right, and and like I said before, more video podcast episode, live streams, and of course, new episodes will be dropping on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Um, on every streaming platform, where whenever you get to listen, stream, and watch your podcast. All right. Listen, I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, rhymes with now or later. And I'd like to say thank you very much to everybody out there in the tri-state area of New Jersey, Connecticut, the 5 boroughs of New York, Long Island, aka Strong Island, and other states for tuning into the episode. You could have listened to any other episode in the whole world, but you chose to listen to this podcast right here for relief from a long day of work. You can also listen while you are in your cars, while you are on your way to your classes, work, and other destinations, coming from your destinations and stuff whatsoever. If you're looking for something that's like non political and all other stuff, this platform right here is for you. All right, and remember, the grind, hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to earn it. It's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. You have to be on your. You have to find your niche and your talent, depending on what you do with your career, and of course, if you plan on starting a podcast, don't worry about anybody else's opinions and stuff. And there's no right or wrong time to starting a podcast. All right, it's never too late to start a podcast. Doesn't matter what age you are, whatsoever. And I also like to say that there's no right or wrong way into hosting your own podcast. All right. A lot of people do podcasting because they like to be unfiltered, uncensored, and of course being able to express themselves. And of course, be yourself behind the microphone is very important while you are recording your episodes and your topics that you're going to talk about. And of course, also remember this. Podcasting is a marathon, not a fucking sprint. All right. You have to be on your P's and Q's creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. Now look though. I'm about to get up out of here. I gotta set up my clothes for me to go out tomorrow. And of course, when I get back, hopefully I'll be able to watch the Mets game. All that great stuff right there, man. And I truly appreciate every single one of y'all for taking the time to listen to the episodes and the topics, hearing me out, despite the 16-minute on mute. I do apologize. Like I said, I'm trying to not make a habit on not being on mute while I'm recording live for you folks at home that's actually listening and stuff. So appreciate you. And I'll be back with more new episodes and everything else. I don't think I'm going to have the chance to actually record episode 422 I may, like I said, I'm gonna have to record that after I come back from my interview tomorrow. So, so yeah, I'll postpone it to tomorrow, um, around evening time. And we're also want to remind y'all, don't forget that fall starts officially on Monday at 2:19 p.m. I hope y'all have your warm clothes ready and stuff. Despite the fact that the temperatures for next week on certain days it's not going to feel like fall, but it's going to still feel like summer a little bit. Um, it's going to be in the 80s and stuff. So you know, you know, just take you can take a hoodie. You can take a hoodie with you just in case the weather changes and stuff. So you never know what happens. So you don't get sick. So yeah, so have your warm clothes and hats and stuff ready on deck around the corner. And of course, October's around the corner though, man. So you might want to have your gloves and everything else ready, and your scarf as well. So there you go, man. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next time with new episodes. What's up? Peace and one love. Enjoy your peace and one love. Good night, everybody.